Today we are doing a preventative maintenance on a Scotsman MDT, Scotsman Ice and Water Dispenser. Let's get into it. First thing we're gonna do is unplug the machine, as it doesn't need to be running, at least for right now. Something else that we're gonna have to do is take care of the standing water, which should be pretty simple. It's just a matter of getting the black gunk out of this drain line. I'm going to take off my panels, open this whole thing up so we can start working on it. You don't know already the screws that need to be removed. This one, this one, this one. I think the condenser is on the other side. So we're gonna take out these screws here, take that off. This swings forward and there's a hinge on top, and then we're also gonna take off the top panel. When you remove the screws for the front panel, there's also these little retaining clips that if you just put a flathead in there and turn it, it'll pop that out of its home. And you could do the same thing for this side. Just put a flathead between there and turn it, and it pops right out. It's gonna be the same thing for the front panel. Just stick a screwdriver in there, pop it, and then same thing for this side. It comes off just like that. Speaking of maintenance, your maintenance instructions are in the inside of the front panel. You can follow those, or just watch this video and I'll show you how to get it done. Top panel also has 4 screws. Now that we're all opened up, I'm going to be removing these retaining clips here. Oh no. Taking this off. There's another one on this side, so that we can move this out of the way. I'm also gonna move this back so I can take this off and get that out of the way. I'm going to be warming up the evaporator so I can add my cleaner and descaler directly into the evaporator, let it soak before making ice with the cleaner, and that'll give me time to empty all the ice out of the storage bin. This is what we look like all opened up. I'm going to be disposing of all this ice, so I'm going to use my hand and just brush this out of the way, get the ice off of the evaporator. I'm actually gonna end up pulling out this thing. It comes up and out. I'm gonna have to use 2 hands to get it. But first, we're going to shut the water off to our ice machine, which is this, if it wants to turn. And then use this hose with the black plunger to drain all the water out so that we can just pour hot water directly into the top of the evaporator and get all the ice out of it. I poured my hot water directly into the evaporator. You could also pop this off and slide that back and pour it directly into there. I just find it easier to do it this way. This agitator paddle is also going to get pulled out, and then I'm just going to use the water pitcher to scoop that out manually and dump it in that sink. Drained out my hot water, and now I'm going to use my descaler, and I'm going to add that directly into the evaporator just like I did before, and that'll fill that up. I'm going to have to top it off, but then like I said, just use your water pitcher to scoop out this ice. It's a lot easier than having to dispense it all. Now that all the ice is removed, very carefully you can grab this. It's sharp, but that comes up and out. And the main reason to take that out is so that we can clean underneath and make sure that our drain is clear, which thankfully it is. But we're going to wipe everything out, sanitize it, sanitize and clean this, put it back together. We are also going to take this apart, the ice sweep. There's a bearing in here that needs to be lubed every time it's maintained, which is something that we're going to do today. This also comes off, so you can take it to the sink and clean it. To remove the cap on top of your upper bearing, you're going to use something, give yourself some leverage, and you're going to go righty loosey instead of righty tighty. This has reverse threads. use this a couple times and it should be loosened up enough to where you can get it with your hands. Just like that. And then we are going to add some new grease in there, and then we'll wipe off the top layer of that used up gray grease. I'm going to be using this grease gun, and this grease gun has a needle on the end of it, and there are little slots that you can push the needle down and into. You don't want to go too far or bend your needle, but if it flows in there, you're going to want to add grease, and the new grease is going to push all the old stuff up. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. As you can see, the new grease forced the old grease out the top. You can see some of the white stuff coming out as well. I may have overfilled it a little bit, but there's really no such thing as overfilling it. You just want to displace the old grease with new grease, and then we don't need to wipe this clean, but we're just going to take the top layer of old grease, so where it looks like that on top, not like that, and then we're just going to throw the cap back on it and call it good. When you reassemble this, don't over tighten it, and make sure to put the watershed back on. It helps keep water from getting inside of your bearing. With greasing the bearing done and wiping that out done, use some ice machine sanitizer, sanitize my surfaces, clean those parts, put this area all back together, just in reverse order of how I took it apart. Then I'm going to be cleaning drain lines, cleaning water lines there, and changing water filter, and cleaning my condenser. We are all put back together up top. Now we're gonna clean the condenser, quick little brush, and then we're gonna blow it out with some compressed nitrogen. Now it's time to change my water filter. The water's already off, so I can just grab this and hopefully turn it and take it right out of there. And then I'm going to grab my new one and plug it right back in. And my new one goes right back up in there. We just line up somehow, some way. Like that. And then my purge hose, which is this red one, I have over here into that hole, and I'm going to open my purge line and then let my water flow, and we'll let that run for 5 minutes. Long story short, I'm not going to be making ice with the descaler. I'm just going to drain it, let it flush a couple times with some clean water, and then I'm going to clean my drain lines. So to clean my drain lines, I'm just going to use this wire brush. I'm going to stick it down the drain line for the storage bin. I'm going to stick it down the drain line for the water tray, and obviously I'd already turned this thing on. These water lines here have already been cleaned. My water trough has been cleaned, so that's done, and I'm gonna let it make ice for 15 minutes, and I'm gonna dispose of the first 15 minutes of ice production, and we're gonna call this job complete. Sorry I had to cut this maintenance a little short. There's not much left to do. Put the front panel on, put the top panel on. It's making ice. I'm still gonna dispense the first 15 minutes of ice, get rid of it. If you haven't yet, check out Ice Machine 411. Lots of videos for ice machine service and repair. We'll see you on the next video.